last time we played, we made the slug wrench, and it has been helping us to keep up with the power. We have the Draco wrench that we made a while ago, and while off camera, I moved the smelting machine from here into up here. So now we were slowly melting the ice while make more iron. And because of that, we are actually running out of space to run our cooling. You can see this place here is already like 20 degrees. There will be almost no cooling for our base in a bit. The only part of this that actually we have been really using is this tiny piece of water here that is at -1 degrees. We need to create another cooling solution for our base that's a bit more long term. On top of that, people are getting a bit stressed because of how many skills I have put in them. So we have two things we need to do as soon as possible. First, we need to do the new cooling system, and we need to make something to increase their morale. Alright, moral-wise, I did add a plant pulverizer to pulverize Brackeen, and I ordered them to start loading the milk in the water cooler. That makes the water cooler considerably better. It gives +2 more instead of 1, and it does give them a flat 15% cycle reduction of stress. And this flat cycle reduction is even if they are overloaded of skills, they're going to get that. I was assuming that maybe the fridge could either be here or it's going to be here. If it's up here, then I would like to have a walking platform to allow them to move forward, back and forth here. So if the walking platform is here, then it means that the cooling room has to be here. Like the temperature control room has to be up there. If the fridge is down here, then it changes and makes the cooling room to be down here, which is closer to the fridge, and that does make it much easier for us to manage. Before deciding where, let's decide how our kitchen is going to look like. We have a grill, and that's it so far. We don't have a musher. I don't think we need to have a musher, but we will definitely need to have a gas range, and we're probably going to use a dehydrator. I don't think we're going to use a deep fryer, and our kitchen needs to have like a bit more space. We do have space for here. We have like 3 tiles for the gas range here. We have 3 tiles for the stove here. We even have 2 tiles here for a musher if you want to have one. And there's enough space up here to deal with the auto sweepers and whatnot, right? So I think it's a fair assumption to say that we can make our fridge in this space here. Yeah, I like this idea. Okay, so this room here is going to be eventually a steam room that will run a bunch of aqua tuners that will cool down different parts of the base. Right now, we don't have a steam turbine, so we need to do another kind of solution to solve the heat thing, which will be, we're going to build a boiler. The boiler is going to boil water, and then we're going to destroy the water to make oxygen. That process does destroy heaps of heat, and until like we get to the other planet to get plastic and everything, we won't need to do much. So I will first make this into a vacuum room using a lock, a double lock. Then I need to remove all the air out of it. So the idea is that we're going to build a boiler, right? So a boiler consists of a heat battery and something heating it and something using the heat. we can heat the boiler by using aqua tuners. Then we can run water through the heat battery to heat the water. Once the water is hot, we move the water from the boiler and transform it into oxygen. And we keep doing that forever. That deletes so much heat that we will not really need a turbine for quite a while. We do need, though, to connect our cooling loops. Now, instead of actually going outside, they need to go through the heat management room. I created a brace with ceramics around here just to like brace where the water is touching. But as this becomes a full steam room with a turbine on top of it, this should change, right? So our heat battery right now is the water. The bigger the battery is, more safe this thing gets, because then we have more space in our battery to heat up before everything goes crazy because we are boiling everything, right? First things first, I'm going to put an aqua tuner. Let's see where it's a good place for an aqua tuner. I think back here, in the very back of the machine. Yeah, I'll put an aqua tuner here. And I'll build a classic aqua tuner loop. The cold water will come here. I mean, the hot water from the base will come here. Then we're going to go downward. Then the newly chilled water is going to come out of here. Then if it can enters inside the aqua tuner, then it will come out here. But if can't, we will bypass it and then merge back into the exit. Lastly, need a tank. It's okay for this tank to be exposed like this. This tank will be filled with ambient temperature water. So this is actually even good to anchor the temperature around this hole anyway. I'm adding a bunch of temp shift plates to help me add mass to this room. More mass inside this room, more safe the temperature inside gets, because I have more space to hold energy before the water boils. This is the first part of the boiler. The second part of the boiler is to boil water and then use the water to make oxygen. First I need to stop the boiler to run if the water is too hot. So if the water is hot enough and this water is cold enough, then the boiler should run. So put these two on an end, connect them together like this, and deconstruct this, and then fuse these like this. Okay, this is the first part of it. Second part of it is I will make a loop that goes into the water like this, then it goes all around like this. So the water here will be washing around until it's actually, you know, I'm going to make another way. I'm going to make a like this. Okay, so what I did is I put a thermal sensor here that detects if this water is below 95 degrees. This machine can only run if the water is below 95 degrees, otherwise it's going to start evaporating everything, and we don't want that. Then we have this thing here. The cold water that we are boiling is going to run through this pipe, and it's going to stop here, and it's going to stay here for as long as it's below 90 degrees. When it's above 90 degrees, it will open this latch here and accumulate the water inside this tank. And then you're going to push from this tank into the oxygen machines that we have across the base. We need now to move our fresh water here to cool down this place. And the water we have is the water that comes from here. So this spring water here that is being pumped into these two tanks here that then later on go into the oxygen machine, we need to actually send them here now. We might still use these two boxes because they are also like accumulating any mud we have. Even though we actually processed all the mud, we still have some mud that we can use. So we shouldn't destroy that just yet, but soon, actually soon. We won't need this room anymore. So I need to connect this line into the boiler. So this line goes up and it fuses here, connect to here, and then the line that goes into the boiler will be this one. So now from this chest we are going to pump the water in the boiler. But we got to understand that the rhythm of how much hot water we have and how much water we need to make our oxygen is different. We might need less water for the boiler, or maybe more water for the boiler, depending on how much heat and how much oxygen we generate. I know from previous situations I built a machine that's very similar. We do use way more water for oxygen than we use to actually cool the base. So we still need to keep feeding fresh water into the oxygen, but we can give preference to the hot water first, so that water is destroyed, and then if we need more water, we use the fresh water. So I am going to connect this pipe down here, and I'm going to use, I would love to be able to use ceramic, but I don't have it, so I'm going to use igneous rock to go down and connect to this room, this pipe here. But instead of just connecting like this, I want to create priority, right? So this pipe connects like that, this pipe connects like this, and then this pipe breaks. So what I mean is, the main pipe that's not being merged has preference. So this pipe is going to go first into the oxygen machine, and then this one is going to go into it. And now I need to make this. That's it. Now we need to do the same preference thing here. We need to give first preference to go up, so to go to the boiler, right? Then the water go first to the boiler, then it goes to the next one. So preference works reversed when it go in. So it has preference to enter whatever machine it can, then the remaining water goes forward. So we try to go first into the boiler, then when it finishes being boiled, then we'll give preference for the boiled water to actually go into the oxygen. It would be ideal if I could transform all this into ceramic, because this has like 90 degrees water, so even though it's insulated, it's going to leak a lot of heat out of this. Okay, so that's it. This will work perfectly. So this can only run if this water is at the right temperature. This water heater is going to stay here and wait until it is at a high temperature, and this thing here will keep like boiling the water for as long as it can. One thing I could do to make this thing just a bit better is I could build 2 bricks here, and then I could connect this with a conductive panel like this. Okay, what does this do? The conductive panel doesn't necessarily need to have water running through it. What it does is, it gets whatever this thing is connected at, and it transfers the temperature to whatever these things are connected at. So, because they're connected like this, they're going to start sending heat from the aqua tuner into this tile here. So you're going to see that soon, very quickly, this tile is going to lose heat and equalize to whatever temperature the aqua tuner is at the moment. So by doing that, we're giving like extra speed to remove temperature from the aqua tuner, just to make sure it's not going to break. It's not super needed, but it's just, let's say it's an insurance. Because not just the water down here needs to be cooked, but also if the water takes too long to heat up because of whatever reason, then this thing is going to leach all the heat out of it, because the speed that the heat is going to be shared between these two is not the speed of the water, which is at what's the speed? 0.6. It's actually the speed of refined cobalt, because that's the speed in this thing here. And refined cobalt has the speed of 100. So it's like several orders of magnitude faster. So this is just to like help leach some energy into here, and then this place has connections to the panels behind, which will help like leach even more energy. This is just an insurance, just to, who knows if this are like spiking heat for whatever reason. But it's just insurance again. I can just delete this later when I don't need this anymore. And yeah. I think this is our new cooling system for the base. While I will build off screen another one of these machines, probably up here. Oh, I won't do it in video because you guys have seen how I built this already. So I'll probably build up here, or maybe up here, like somewhere that's a bit far away from this place. The reason why I want to build another one is because this machine makes enough oxygen for 8 people. I have 16 people, so I need to have 2 machines. I do have the oxygen that's being made by this machine here, and I know of it, but remember that we also need to power our atmosuits. So I might actually use this type of oxygen to power the base, and then this type of oxygen to power the suits. So that's it. The entire cooling system done. This cooling system is very sustainable until much later, when we want to have a steam turbine on top of this, and then we will unlock this from 95 degrees and just allow this to heat how much we want, you know. But for now, this is good enough, and this will hold maybe for 1,000 days. Like this system holds like really forever. But that's it. Oh, I'm also going to finish this Escher tank. Same thing is here, literally same thing is here, but I'm built for this one. So yeah, so thank you very much, and have a nice day.